I will say is that you got to just start. And no matter how scary it is, and no matter how much information you don't know, there's information available somewhere. We're in an age where information is gold. If you don't know, either find somebody that is very much an expert at it and understand how to do it, or pretty much just figure it out. But there's always a way. But we gotta start. That's the thing that I know has held me back for a lot of years before, was just I did not know how. I just went into something that was a job that was secure, that I thought was secure, but literally is not as secure as we think. Because remember, COVID-19 happened and a lot of jobs were let go. I'm just saying that it's better when you have your own way, create that path. We're only getting older and older. No matter where you're looking at, it's better to start today.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is the founder of Turnituplive Media, Jean Francois. They help wellness coaches who aren't techie implement systems and automation to help maintain and attract new clients. Jean, so excited to have you on. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing today?
Man, doing fantastic, Chris. Appreciate having me on the show. And hello, everyone.
Absolutely. So tell us more about your journey. What were you doing before that kind of led you into this space of digital marketing automation?
Great question, Chris. And I'll tell you this story. I woke up one day and I was in bed, and it was a day like another day. You wake up and you're thinking, I have to go and go on with my day. At the time I was working, and 9 to 5 was my whole gig. I'm getting up and getting dressed, getting into the car, about to go on the highway. And of course, got to go through an hour to 2 hour traffic. Finally get to the office space, and I was working at a local call center for a wholesale company. And opening the door, I figured this is probably going to be another day where I'm probably going to hate myself because I'm forcing myself to do this again. And I was telling myself while I was walking to my desk, if I continue doing this today, I'm pretty much giving up on myself. I'm giving up on my dreams. I'm giving up on everything. But as they say, you got to smile and dial. No matter how you feel, no matter how you think, you got to just get in there because you're working for somebody else and you're pretty much working on their dollar. I sat down and I picked up the phone. And as I was picking up the phone, I was overhearing one of my coworkers, and it said, "Hey, guess what? I got a promotion." And there I was telling myself, like, no, man, are you serious? This guy's only been working there for about 3 weeks and he got a promotion. And I've been here for 5 years. I'm stuck in the same position and I'm still not advancing. But if I continue giving my life to somebody else and letting them dictate how my life is going to go, I'm never going to move forward. And remember, to get the pension and getting retirement, you got to wait till you're 75 because we're in Canada over here, and that's pretty much where you get the actual pension or qualifications. The same day I said, I ain't going to let that happen. When I went home that same night, I started looking online. I started looking at ways that I can make money. It started giving me options. You can build a course and you can do this thing called SMMA for social media management for other companies. And I said, let me check this out. I clicked on it. I buy it. It's like a course with 197. I got the course, went through it. And the next day, I was also in college. I went to this college, and as I was walking, it was in the cafeteria, and I saw this lady. She was talking so passionately, and she was talking about how there's all these resources available for us, especially as students. And you could pretty much get a lot of it for free. And a lot of us were immigrants and we weren't really accustomed to all these additional resources. I was pretty interested. I sat down, and as I was looking around, there was a few people there. But at the end of the presentation, I was so wowed that I came up to the presenter and I said, listen, there's so many resources that us immigrants should have that you're telling us about, and I didn't even know were even available to us, that I'm shocked there's not many people that are here. I told her, how did you do your promotion? Did you actually market yourself? And she's like, yeah, I put posters up. And I said, where? And she's like, over there. And I look at the wall. I said, those posters that I just walked by and I don't even look at. Okay. Did you know that a lot of us are on social media? Because that previous night I was looking at social media content and how to actually start your social media. I said, what? People actually go on social media. We're students. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. That's where you should promote. And she's like, what? I never thought of that. I only have a personal page and I only use it for family. I don't really know how to use all that stuff. I said, I actually know a lot about it. How's about I just get it for you? I get started for you and it'll be for free. And she said, yeah, let's go. And then a couple of weeks after, I started doing some content for them and it started actually working out for them. They started getting more visibility. And that's where I found out for the first time that I can actually do something for myself and it can actually give somebody back value. And that's where I started working on my own business, which is Turning Up Live Media, and helping actual entrepreneurs at the beginning, just getting themselves out there with at least social media presence and getting them at least known in the marketplace. But that's how the beginning of that journey started with Turning Up Live Media.
I absolutely love that. You both kind of painted forward, helping like, hey, I just learned something cool that if I could share that knowledge and do it for you, let's see if it works. And it happened to work. And now you're bridging this gap between business owners who have to be good at sales, but don't have that sales experience and can't quite always be techie and be on top of the latest trends of social media and the internet because it's constantly changing. But you're providing value and bringing value to them to bridge that gap because honestly, they just don't want to deal with all the techie stuff that's involved. You can teach and tell them about it, but I feel like they just get lost. It's tough to implement unless that's a part of your daily life.
100%. And Chris, don't get me wrong. We talk about a lot of serving and helping other entrepreneurs, but even us, I don't know for you, but for me, I was confused on even how to do the social media stuff. Even for the longest time period, I was a user of social media. I wasn't so active on it, but I didn't really understand how to properly use it, how to get a big following and how to get people to really view your stuff. It was more or less just posting just to let your friends know you're active and socializing with them. That's how I pretty much used it. But turning that into an actual way to generate business and income from it, that was completely new for me.
Yeah, but it kind of shows just if you're willing to learn something and put something into practice, you can get really good at something and help others. And even if you're self-admitted, you say, hey, I'm kind of limited in this knowledge, but it's more than the previous person knows about it. And even that is a huge leg up for them because they have zero knowledge of it. To have any sort of foundation to that just puts you ahead of the game.
100%. Just being a step ahead could definitely be a lot for somebody that just never even done anything from it. 100% agree with that.
Absolutely. You were telling me a bit before we started recording about your history into helping wellness coaches. This is almost something from your past in history that kind of led into niching down into the specific industry where you can help others with a specific issue.
That's kind of a crossroad in my journey. What happened was a few years, I was already doing the social media stuff. It was working and I was doing it more general. That means like I was helping entrepreneurs, business owners, anybody that pretty much needed help. I was there to help them. And then 2020 happened with COVID. And that's when here in Canada, we were forced to close our non-essential businesses. And a lot of people that I've known during my past of working, they were reaching out to me. They were saying, Jean, I don't know what to do. My doors are closed. I'm very based on referral base and walk-ins. I don't even know what to do now to get business. And that's where I started getting more into, okay, well, you can start working on your website again, redesigning it and things like that. And then at the same time, probably a few weeks in, I started having some symptoms. I started having a lot of stomach aches, having some bleeding coming out. And man, there's something wrong with me. Pretty much, I think 3 weeks in after that, I was severely, horribly just in bed. I couldn't move or nothing like that. And that was where I was put into a merge. And they told me, listen, you're pretty much qualified to be diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And when you hear those words, you don't even understand. You're just like, oh no, Crohn's.
I think it's the worst, right? You gotta know what it is.
But just the fact that doctor's telling you that, you're like, oh no, not Crohn's. But what does that mean? It was pretty much just air bowel disease. That's why you're having all these symptoms. We're going to give you just these tests and we're going to put you through these medications and then we'll go from there. And luckily for me, I had a second opinion and they actually told me that it was not Crohn's, but it was actually ulcer colitis. It was a bit more mild, but it's in the same family. There's a lot of similar symptoms. But that's where I had to actually transition fully into from part-time entrepreneur while working 9 to 5 into full-time entrepreneurship because I was mostly at home. The only thing that I could really do is focus on my business. But during that time, I had also been seeking help on how to do this more on the natural way. I went through what's called naturopaths, dietitians, physiotherapy, osteopath. I went through all these professionals to help me at least kind of get more comfortable with my body where it was at. And as I was going through their sessions, they were helping me heal in ways that I didn't even know can heal. And at that time, I was just like, y'all giving me so much back. How can I help you? And they were just telling me on stuff they were going through their business. We want to get more visibility. We want to get more business. We want to get more money. And things started clicking to me. I said, hey, listen, a lot of the stuff that you're struggling with, I actually do my business. How's about we work something out? And that's how I started working more towards this industry and helping them more because I figured, hey, give back to who's helped me.
Absolutely. And you already had this in with them. You kind of understood their process and how they work with their clients and the benefits of it. You already kind of understood, how do I get this message across to a particular audience and start to build up their brand, their visibility a bit. Have there been any marketing trends or changes you've seen since you first started until now? Because I feel like even since COVID, there's a big push to go into digital everything and do online shopping carts and digital fulfillment. But I feel like even with AI and new different social media platforms, I feel like it's still constantly reinventing and changing itself. Have you seen any changes that you like to approach when you're working with your clients?
This is the thing with the whole transition because before people were really big on just like you get a poster up and you pretty much get referrals. And I'm really relying on in person coming in. That's it. But we're now in an age where you gotta be trendy. You gotta understand what's working right now online because it's not enough just to do what you used to know, especially with the way people are interacting with businesses. If you don't have a visual presence online, your reputation is nothing almost. Like they don't trust it, they don't know if you're online. Not only that has that switch, but also the way you mentioned AI implementation. There's a lot of things that we can now do. You can pretty much call people and their business. And now you have an actual robot that's actually answering you if they're a real person. That's taking away the receptionist that usually clinics would depend on. But at the same time, you're not really getting much as a return of income when it comes to just having a receptionist just answer phone calls, right? You can actually now replace that whole receptionist with just an AI agent and you can actually focus more on actual employees that service your clients. And that's more of a return for your actual income. I mean, you also have AI generated content that you can produce. You can have people literally that don't like to put content out, that don't like to put their face in front of a camera. You can take them, ask them to take maybe a 5-second clip of themselves, send it over to you, and you can produce limitless amount of content for them. I mean, I had so many clients that were like, yo, Jean, I want to work with you, but the social media stuff, I just don't know how to do it. I don't like being on camera. That's not my thing. Imagine how much of a headache that saved me from having to convince them that it's good for them, right? There's so many things that are happening now. And as if you don't keep up with it, you're just going to be left behind. That's just how it is. The businesses that are going to keep on growing is the ones that adapt it to their business.
Absolutely. And you're going to have clients asking you, have you heard of this AI thing or this A1 thing or this L thing that keeps popping up? And that's your chance and opportunity to tell them how it's being implemented by businesses, how it's saving them a bunch of time. And even the example with the receptionist, you also open up off business hours. The receptionist works 40 hours a week, typically in office, right? But what about evenings? What about weekends? What about overnight when a lot of people are still online searching for problems, but they can't reach that receptionist? Now they can reach that AI agent to get all their questions answered and move forward in the process. And AI agents can, depending on how you train them, they can do almost anything you want. They can nurture the lead. They can ask qualifying questions. It's almost like an advanced human being if you can train them right.
100%. Exactly as you said it. If you don't train it right, oh, of course, you're not going to do exactly what you want. But yes, put in the time, train it. And then from there, you're saving yourself so much hours of time. And you said the amount of hours that you're getting back is just like limitless.
Absolutely. Is there a certain way you like to approach working with your clients? Are you more like a custom white glove service, or do you have set packages that you say, I've worked with so many wellness businesses that I've seen what does and doesn't work. Here's your deliverables. Here's what you get. Or do you kind of balance in between? You just go in and do something custom for each business?
It depends. I have the more advanced stuff for those that are more established because they're already proven that they have their whole concept. They know exactly what they want. The packages are more for them. The ones that don't really know, I have more of the customizable things because sometimes they don't need everything. They just need a starting point just to be able to move forward towards something. And then from there, we can start developing more of an actual tangible thing that really fits their needs. I have both sides, but I typically go more for the packages because they're already proven and they're more templated. You already see this happening in your business. I've seen it happening in some of my clients. Let me just plug it in the same thing that's worked for them. And then boom, you just see the results from there.
Absolutely. Now, where do you kind of see the rest of 2025 going and maybe 3 to 5 years from now? What are you looking to grow and build into? Are you kind of maintaining everything that you have currently? Or are you looking to get crazy and scale with everything that you're building right now?
Well, for me, it's always about scaling because you can only stay so long in one space until you start getting like, okay, well, what's the next thing for me? And at that point, too, I want to be able to get to a point where I can help more people and also implementing a lot of things that may be funner for me to do. At this point in stage, I'm still comfortable in terms of how things are because I'm still learning and developing as we go. Although I want to get to a point where I'm a full on partner with your clinic, I'm a growth partner with you and we start scaling those into franchises, right? And now it's going to be interesting where we're able to now replace a lot of the actual processes and a lot of the actual products and services they have, because sometimes they just have like one or two services that they pretty much typically sell as packages. And then the rest are just like per appointment. And you can only grow so much from that. We're trying to really put in together a way that is just a full recovery system that you have in place for your clients. It helps them through their pains, it helps them through their inflammation, and it's a whole recovery process. They go for 6 months to a year. Now that is where it becomes more interesting, not only for your clients, but it also becomes interesting for you as is the return of investment for your time.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of businesses appreciate more of that partnership focused growth strategy because they don't want someone just to come in and do a quick project or they do something for 3 months, they don't get results, and then they hightail out of there. Oh, thanks for everything. They want someone who is going to be them with them medium to long term, someone who can benefit and grow from each other's success as well. When you're successful, I'm successful, and vice versa. Let's get to that point. But sometimes it really takes that deeper dive. It's not just marketing. You got to relook, you got to think outside the box, take a look at the products and services. How are the operational efficiencies? Everything from their standard procedures to the client fulfillment. I mean, everything has to be considered, but that's the beauty of a partnership. You're invested into everything that they have going on and seeing their success.
100%. And what have you seen, Chris, like on your side? Because I know you're also big in the space too. So what's been exciting for you?
Dude, you are in the trenches and everything you said is 100% correct. I can't even add to anything that you've added because it's just a balance of you're trying to build up and work together. The more you can do a friendship, partnership sort of deal. But in addition, they're also looking to you as the expert. If something doesn't seem right or you need to guide and direct them a little bit, they trust your judgment. We can do a big brainstorming idea session together, but really they're looking for you to take the lead and lead the team and then give directives for everyone else. Be confident in your decisions and what you're doing. Always be learning. That's always something that's really important, but don't be afraid to adjust. But that's what I'm seeing. It's very similar to everything that you're seeing as well.
Yes, 100%. I agree on that one. Now is a time. If you're not implementing a lot of what's happening, especially with the AI and automations, you're just hurting your growth. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to get better. This is the worst it's going to get. And a lot of the stuff that's currently out here is pretty good already. Give it a maybe 3, 4 more years, and it's going to be advanced.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see the shifts and changes. I mean, just the automobile production line that systematized making cars more affordable. This is a new generation of the software and computer engineering. Basically, it's taking over programmers, coders, graphic design artists, websites now. Video is impressive with VO3 from Google. And man, what can't be done now? And this is the worst it gets. Like you said, it only gets better from here.
Telling you, especially when it comes to people that are not very code oriented, developers, is like you mentioned too. A lot of times we had to hire these developers in order to get our ideas out. But now you really have these websites that take all of that out. They just give you the whole prompt that you need to put in and you get what you want. This is where we're at. This is where the average person can now really be in the same line as the bigger businesses, the bigger branches that are also making a lot of money.
Yes, absolutely. And now for everyone who's interested in getting connected with John here, loving everything that you're hearing, how do they find you and connect with you online?
Well, perfect place is Instagram. That's where I'm mostly at. So that's J.X.Francois. So Instagram, and then I'll definitely love to connect and see how we can actually talk about your business growth.
I love that. And for everyone listening, we'll have those links available down in the show notes and the description. I know we already talked about your plans for 1, 3, 5 years. You're building, you're growing and learning. Are there any online resources that you would recommend to others? Because I think you first stumbled upon that course, but throughout everything, we're always learning, always educating ourselves. Are there certain YouTube channels or podcasts or books or just places you go when you're curious about something? It sounds like you probably use more AI. You ask AI directly, like, hey, just give me the answer here.
100%. The resources I would tell you to is first, you got to know about the AI major agents. I mean, you got ChatGPT, top one that's currently going. You got Claude, you got pretty much Perplexity. These are going to be good for you, especially if you're looking for data information and what's current and what's not. It's going to help you a lot. But when it comes to business, I like to go back to the basics, like the Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. It was a major change in my life in terms of understanding business and understanding too, what is actually your main focus? Is it to just be the average person, or are you actually looking to be a business owner and grow your actual business? And then also what I would suggest is the Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill, you don't get any good as that, man. It helps you as well connecting with people and understanding like, what is it that they're looking for as well? It's a win-win exchange. I think those two would be great resources because I know it's helped me. And then the $100 million lead by Alex Ramosi. You lead with free, you lead with offer. That's actually how I got started, was free value. You only get just as good as just sharing information that's worked for you.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the resources. And it was a perfect lead into my follow-up question. I wanted to ask, what would be your advice to other entrepreneurs who are starting in a similar job or position similar to you? What would you recommend to them?
What I will say is that you got to just start. And no matter how scary it is, no matter how much information you don't know, there's information available somewhere. We're in an age where information is gold. If you don't know, either find somebody that is very much an expert at it and understand how to do it, or pretty much just figure it out. But there's always a way, but we got to start. That's the thing that I know has held me back for a lot of years before, was just I did not know how. I just went into something that was a job that was secure, that I thought was secure, but literally is not as secure as we think. Because remember, COVID-19 happened and a lot of jobs were let go. I'm just saying that it's better when you have your own way, create that path. We're only getting older and older. No matter where you're looking at, it's better to start today.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. A lot of great tips and tricks here. Appreciate you coming on to share your journey, what's been working for you, how you've been helping others. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Of course. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.